Welcome to Face.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
You can't handle the truth. King Kong ain't got shit on me. I am the third revolution.
I'm so much crazier than you.
I am the one who knocks.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Everybody on? Good, great, grand, wonderful.
Welcome to Facing Off, a podcast where we take two movies that we find to be similar and we compare, contrast, and rate them based on some metrics we came up with. I am one of your hosts, Gabe Segal.
And I am your other host, Nick Tellier.
What's up, Supreme Other Host? How you doing, man?
Doing well, man. We're on equal footing, right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
This is your brainchild, but I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about yourself, Nick. Really sell us on your life story.
will do that. I'm Nick. I am a school psychologist that works in the LA area. That has nothing to do with film, but I very much like absorbing film and TV through osmosis. And by osmosis, I mean by
it's very
watching it,
scientific.
because I am not an amoeba. I am a human.
Right.
But seriously,
We know that.
I love talking about movies. Gabe and I have been friends since college, and he had this idea to do this podcast and asked me to do it with him, and here I am, and I'm very excited to keep doing this every week. How are you, Gabe?
I'm doing all right. As I said, my name is Gabe Segal. I'm an attorney, and I don't have to do with movies either, or my job has nothing to do with
Nope.
movies. I wish it would, but I'm trying. I'm definitely trying. But no, I just love movies. I love talking about anything. Honestly, I'm a very loquacious person. But
Ooh.
whoa,
Someone's
dude.
been studying for the GRE.
Yeah, straight up. I'm not, but I know the GRE words. But yeah, no, I just love movies. I always talk about movies. Anyone who knows me knows I love movies and I love recommending movies. And, you know, over time, I've tried to get good at speaking about things without being an asshole. And I think that this is like a perfect place for that. And, you know,
Finally attained that level of speaking.
yeah,
You're
I'm
no
very
longer
self-aware
an
now.
asshole.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I just really love movies. I try to see as many movies as possible every year. I try to, you know, I have a huge list of movies in my phone that I go to try to see. And then I rank everything like a sociopath, psychopath, or one of those paths. I don't know.
One of the paths.
Yeah. And I really wanted to do this idea with Nick because I think that it is great to take two different things and kind of compare and contrast them, because that's a good way of pointing out what is good about something that you like and what is bad about something that you hate, and try to
Right.
find something similar to really like contrast that.
Right. So Gabe had the idea for us to make a podcast, and I loved the idea because I wanted a creative outlet. I used to do a lot of like acting in college and in high
That's
school. I was in a band for a long time, and I miss being creative, and this is an outlet for me to do that. But we spent a long time trying to figure out what this was going to look like, or I guess sound like, because it's definitely a podcast.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like anything to you, but
I guess if you close your eyes,
you can
whatever
imagine
it looks
us.
like. Yeah.
But we spent a long time trying to figure out what this is going to be like, how we were gonna talk about movies in
Right.
what way, and I think we landed on something that is equal parts a great way to talk about movies and is semi creative. So
Yeah.
do you want to go over the structure of our podcast, or
Yeah,
should we
I
give
guess
some disclaimers first?
Yeah, let's do
huh?
some disclaimers. Basically, we just want to let you know that we're not experts. We do
No.
not work in the entertainment industry yet. But we're not experts. This isn't a job that we're doing. We're not movie critics. And this is just our opinions, and we're very much open to everyone's opinions.
We're not
and
sponsored by Amp Energy Drink.
No,
yet.
we're not.
If you're out there, Amp Energy Drink,
Yeah, please sponsor us. so
we know
can-
you exist and I have ingested your beverage before.
Hey, Amp Energy Drink, don't you want to hear a podcast where we speak at 2 times the speed of any other podcast? Sponsor us. But anyways, yeah, no, we're not experts.
And we won't
and this
purport
is
to
our
be
opi-
experts.
Right.
Our opinions are not the be all end all. They're just our opinions, and we like talking.
Right.
So we did this.
And the other thing is we're going to spoil movies.
Yes.
That's just kind of in the nature of talking about movies and discussing them and analyzing them. So if you see the title of a movie in the name of the episode and you haven't seen it and you don't want it spoiled, please go watch that movie. We would love... it's going to be more fun for you anyways. It's going to be more interesting if you have just watched the movie right before, or, like a few days before, so you can really see how we break them down. Do you have any other disclaimers?
We're going to randomly quote a bunch of movies as we talk. So
we both just quote a lot. And
keep up, people.
Yeah, and it's going to be really annoying, but it's fun for us, and that's kind of the point of this.
Yeah.
So basically the layout of our podcast is going to be that we're going to take two movies that we find to be similar in some way. That could be acting, directing. Generally, it's going to be that the stories are similar or it's thematically similar.
We're going to draw some thread between two movies, even if we got to stretch it a little bit.
Totally. If we can find like a bridge between two movies, we will. And we have. We've actually listed out like 100 movies that we want to do that can be compared in some way.
Yeah.
And some of those movies, sometimes we're going to be doing ones that we think are good and then we think are bad, or they're going to be great versus good or good versus good. And it's just a matter of our opinions. Sometimes our opinions may be conflicting in that way. And that might be more fun. So what we're going to do is we're going to take those two movies. We're going to give you a little synopsis that bridges them together, tell you why we're doing them. And then we're going to we're going to rate them based on some specific like metrics or categories that we came up with.
Yeah.
Typically, we're going to be using 5 categories or 5 metrics. Those will change. Which metrics we use will change each time, but we have 5 standard ones that we're going to do. Before we talk about the 5 ones that we do, we're going to rate them on a 1 to 7 scale.
Right. And we've created a 1 to 7 scale for a couple reasons. Rating to 10 is too big of a range, we thought, and also doesn't have a middle number because it's not an odd number. 7 has a middle number of 4, which would be a rating of 4 would represent something that we think is average. It's just sort of, it's par for the course. It's just it's like a medium rating, a blah level. So you've got blah in the middle, your 3 and your 5 are not very good or pretty good.
Yeah,
and then
like
your 2
slightly above average, or slightly below.
Yeah, your 2 and your 6 are very above average, very below average for 2 and very above average for 6. And then your 1 and your 7 are poor and excellent.
Yeah, and it is tough to get 7 in some of our categories. So
yeah, it definitely is.
We have 5 categories that we think are good across the board for many movies to rate them and talk about them. And those categories are that Nick and I came up with are spectacularity, which is just basically, because this is kind of just like a term of art that we use together, it just means like how engaged you were with the movie. Were you looking at your phone? Were you worried about runtime? Were you taken out of the movie? Were you at the edge of your seat? Yeah. Something like that we'd rate it on.
And then we'll take a category called acting, which is an amalgamation of a bunch of different things. We kind of blended a bunch of stuff together because we didn't want to have a zillion categories.
Yeah.
So acting is not just the acting of the movie, but it's the directing. It's the status of the director, of the writer. Essentially, it's a category that we ask questions like... was the acting believable? Did the actors have the material that they needed to make their performances believable? Were they directed in a fashion that led to a believable and impactful performance?
Yep, totally agree. And then other ones that we're going to do are eye candy. That's just a visual category that encapsulates a lot of the visual elements. Originality, self-explanatory. And then... legacy, which is just kind of talking about it in the history of movies. That's also self-explanatory.
Yeah.
So then we're going to add them up. You're going to get a 70 for each movie combined, 35 each.
Per Gabe and I, the maximum that one of us can give a movie is 35.
Yeah, based on those categories.
If you can math.
Yeah, good math, Nick.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, very proud of you. Yeah, and then after that, we're kind of going to just go through some like accolades. We're going to give these movies some awards sometimes. You know, it'd be like MVP, LVP, best scene, worst scene.
Yeah, we might
quote.
list things. I mean, the part after we do the actual rating and talking about the merits of each of the movies, we're gonna kind of vary from movie to movie and
it's just kind
switch
of
up.
like-
It's just kind of our time to get out any last information that we want to vomit at you through your ears.
Absolutely. And if there are things that are related to the two movies or the two pieces of entertainment that we're talking about that we think we want to recommend, but we may not have time to talk about in its own podcast, we're going to just recommend it there.
Right.
And we would really love to hear your recommendations. So
Yes.
you can email us. We are going to be very responsive to the emails. You can email us at facingoffpodcast@gmail.com.
Get at us.
Yeah, get at me. And you can send us some feedback, tell us your opinions, say, you know, we got something wrong, or you have some recommendations for some movies that you want us to do. And you can also follow us on Instagram. Our handle is facingoffpod. And on Twitter, our handle is @facingoffpod. And then you can rate, review, subscribe on wherever you get your podcasts, especially Apple Podcasts or Spotify, however you found this podcast.
Yeah.
But please share it with your friends and family. We're really happy to have you guys. We got some great stuff coming out. We got every type of genre. We're going to have like rom-coms. Ooh. We're going to have like horror movies, action movies, comic book movies. Really
Barracudas.
depressing dramas, period pieces,
Heat-seeking
animated Barracuda foxhounds.
Barracudas.
So we got a bunch coming for you. Our first episode is going to be Guardians of the Galaxy versus Suicide Squad.
Versus a Suicide Squad.
Versus a Suicide Squad. So if you haven't seen those movies, please do. I definitely recommend that you watch
and
Guardians
we chose
of the
those
Galaxy.
two because it's a very good representation of
Good versus bad.
good versus bad, which is initially why we came up with this idea for a podcast. So thank you guys for listening. Please continue to listen and let us know, what we're doing right, what you'd like to see us do differently. You can critique us. We're open to anything. Our opinion is not the be-all, end-all.
Yeah. Hey, Nick.
Yes.
Happy to have you on board.
Happy to have you on board.
I sound like Keanu Reeves. I couldn't speak English there.
Happy to have you on board.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening.